Today we're going to be working on a 2017 Infiniti Q60. We'll be installing a VLine 2 in here, and so we'll be taking out the display and radio behind here, and we'll show you how to do that. So the first step will be taking off this piece of trim right here, and we're going to take off the one on the other side as well. And to do that, you're just going to push out towards the seats and lift up. As you can see, all the clips are vertical here. And then we'll do the same on this side. And now that those are out, we'll move on to taking this piece of trim out next. And for this piece of trim here, we're just going to pry it up with our pry tool. So we're going to start on this far side here, and we're just going to pull all these clips up. And then to get this piece out, you need to lift up and kind of pull down on it. There we go. And as you can see, there's a clip right in here that actually goes up inside of this piece of trim. So you want to make sure that that clip comes loose. And then to remove this piece of trim, we just need to unplug the plug on the bottom if you do have that. Next, we'll be removing this bolt here and the same on the other side. And now for the shifter, we're going to have to take off the top shift knob. So we're just going to pull down on the boot here. There we go. And once you have that down, you'll see this metal clip. And we're just going to want to remove that. And you do want to be careful with this clip because you don't want to lose it. There we go. And once you have that off, just store that somewhere safely. And then you can pull up on the shifter here. And now we're ready to remove this panel. And lastly, before we remove this piece of trim, we do need to put the shifter down into drive so that we can actually pull it off. And to do that, we're going to take off the cap right here to the shift lock. And there's going to be a release down in here that if you use the key, you can just push down, and then you'll be able to shift back. And from there, we'll just pull up on the trim, and that'll come loose. And now we'll pull up. There we go. And from here, we'll just be removing all the plugs on the bottom. And then for this one, it actually disconnects on the shifter itself. And we'll put this out of the way now. Next, we'll be taking off these two pieces of trim on the side with the AC vents. And to do that, you can just pull from the bottom and then use your pry tool towards the top to pop everything loose. Next, we're going to remove this front panel here, which is going to be a screw right here under the AC controls and one over here on the driver's side as well. And once those are removed, this piece of trim just pulls off. These clips on the top, they're supposed to pull out towards you and kind of down as well. And next we'll have our harnesses on the back of the display here we need to disconnect. So we're going to disconnect the 3 connectors back here. And now we can remove this panel and we'll move on to the display next. display, it's just going to be these two screws in the center. And from there, we'll just tilt the display towards us and pull down. And that'll take out these two retaining clips at the top. And then from here, we'll remove the harnesses behind here. And now we'll take the radio out by removing the 4 screws. We're going to have these two up top and these two at the bottom. All of those are out. The radio just pulls directly out like this, and then we can start disconnecting all of our plugs back here. And now we'll disconnect these back here, and we'll be making our VLine connections here, as well as that front panel that we just removed. And to get these out, you're just going to push them on the clip and pull them out. If they do feel like they're stuck, sometimes pushing them back in towards the display and then pulling them out will actually get them loose. There we go. There we go. And now that we've got this removed, we'll move on to our cables next. So for our cables, we're going to be connecting to these two sets of plugs here. We're going to be connecting to these two up top, and then we're going to connect to this one down here, as well as this video plug. So to connect to the ones down here, we're going to go ahead and take our main harness, and we have our 2 sets that go to the top, so we'll leave that to the side, and these are the ones that are going to go down here. So we're just going to run that behind here. We have that through, we'll just connect it to our T-harness, and then this side will go to the front display panel, and then up on the top we'll go ahead and connect these two. And then for the main cable, we're just going to go ahead and run it behind this right here and pull it up by the vent. And this way, when we put everything to the glove box, we've already got our wiring right here, and we can just go straight down to the glove box area. And so now that we have that connected, we'll do the video connector next. Alright, so we've got our video harness here, and we're going to put every bit of the wiring up top here kind of tucked in for now, just to make it a little easier to see. And this green connector out of the middle here is going to go into the connector on our harness, on the T-harness, and then this side will be going into the display on the lower part here. And then for this end going to the VLine, now we're going to put that underneath here, the opposite of what we did with the main harness. And then from there we'll just run it underneath the support. All of our slack through. There we go. And then from here, we're going to manage some of the slack and zip tie everything up, and then we'll run it all to the glove box. Alright, so to install in the glove box, we are going to pull it down just to easily access everything in the back. To get this out, there is a clip right on the side here that's on kind of like a drawstring. And to get that loose, you can just push on it from the back. And then once that's out, you can lift up on the glove box. And now to get the glove box out, we're just going to push on the side corner here and get this peg out. And then we'll pull up on it. And once we have the clips loose on the bottom, we can pull it out, and this side will come out as well. There's those clips on the bottom right here, and those just clip right down here. So when you pull those out, you're just gonna pull towards you. And now that that's out, we can run our wires through here. So now we're ready to run our wires down from behind the radio or display up here. Then we're gonna run them down to this hole right here for now. And then once we have them here, we're gonna take off the air cabin filter cover here, and we're gonna notch that out to run our wires through. And so first, we're just gonna run those through here. And so we're just gonna fish all those down through here. Next, we'll do our main power harness. Now that we've got those through, we'll go ahead and notch this out, and then we'll run our wires to the V-line. Alright, so now that we have those wires in here, we can go ahead and put the glove box back in. So we're just going to line up the bottom two clips, and then we'll pull down the side clip over here. And then once it's lined up, you can push it into place. And we're going to lift up and put the left peg in first. The right peg, and then you just want to make sure the bottom clips way down here are lined up. And then once you push on both sides like that, you'll hear it snap in, and our glove box is done. Alright, so now the V-line is fully connected and we have all the wires ran. We're ready to reassemble the display. And so we'll start by plugging in actually these on the lower part. We just want to make sure that none of the OEM wires here are tangled up in our T-harnesses. And then from here, we're just going to connect these one by one. Lastly, we've got our two plugs here, a larger plug and a small one. And we want to make sure that our T-harnesses are tucked up here and that they don't get in the way of the display going back in. I'm just going to get these top two clips in like that, and the bottom two pegs need to line up there, and now we can put those two screws back in. Next, we're ready to put this panel in, and we're just going to have these three plugs on the back. The one here, the green one, is going to be our video harness. It's the male side of the T-harness. And then we've got the factory 8-pin connector there, and then this is going to be our other small harness on our T-harness. From here, when we insert it, we want to make sure that this clip in the middle here doesn't get in the way of any wires. So we're just going to push that back a little bit, and then this connection here, we want to make sure that we turn it a little bit sideways. That way it can actually fit underneath. There we go. As long as it fits underneath this plastic bar in the back, you'll be good. And then as we line it up, we want to get the top three clips up here in, and then you can push down, and it should seat into place. Now lastly, we're going to put in these two screws on either side. Next, we're going to put the vents in, and those just slide right into place. And now we can do the center console. And for the center console, we want to make sure we get all these plugs connected. There we go. That's in the front. And then we're going to have two back here. One's going to go to our knob, and then one's going to go to the drive mode button if you have that. This will seat into place, and we just want to make sure that it lines up here before we push it down into the clips. And then next we'll put in the two screws that go in here. And next we can move on to the other piece for the center console. And now for this piece here, there is this little clip at the top that we want to make sure we get it in an angle. So you want to clip that in first. And once it's clipped in, there we go. You'll be able to line up your other clips and just push down. And then from here, we'll move on to the rest. And for the shifter, we're just going to set that down into place. And I'm actually going to go ahead and put it back into park to make it a little easier. And for your clip, you just want to line up one of the sides and then push it on. And as long as it clips into place and doesn't seem like it's loose, it should be good. And we'll just slide the boot back up. Lastly, we have these pieces of trim here that just slide right into place. And you push down to lock the clips in. It'll be the same for the driver's side here. And now we've got everything fully reassembled. If you did remove the shift lock, you can put that back in. That'll be this plastic piece here. It'll just pop in right by the shifter indicator. And now we're ready to test the VLine.